Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. It all massively helps out, and let's crack on with today's first story. Now, today's first story comes from an orange horse who says, "My friend is about to ask his girlfriend to marry her, and I'm the only one who knows how unfaithful she is. Do I say anything?" Not sure if this belongs in this sub because it isn't my relationship I'm asking for advice about. If not, apologies. So my good friend Aaron and his girlfriend Mary have been together for almost 7 years. They met in college and are in a very close relationship. Personally, I would call them extremely codependent. Neither of them really have any friends aside from each other. She doesn't let him have guy friends. In fact, she doesn't let him do a lot of things. He's not allowed to go out past 11, not allowed to drink or smoke. She has to approve all of his friends, and he's not allowed to be alone with other girls. She's got this guy on a tight leash. The reason why they're still together is that Aaron is completely whipped, and to him, she can do no wrong. He talks regularly about how amazed he still is that she finds him attractive. He's a decent looking guy, but she's like supermodel level looking. They post cutesy couple photos every day. I'm pretty sure she makes him post them, and to everyone who sees them, they appear to be the perfect magical fairy tale couple. Anyway, a few weeks ago, he told my boyfriend and I that he was planning on proposing to Mary. Of course, we congratulated him because he seemed super excited. Now, here's the issue. A few weeks prior to this, I hung out with a friend of Mary, Allison. Allison told me about a party they went to where Mary got drunk and slept with her ex. After the party, they began hooking up regularly, and she had a threesome with him and a friend of his. Aaron has no knowledge of these hookups. I told my boyfriend about it because he shares my friendship with both of them, and he believes that we need to say something, but I'm not sure how to even go about that. It will destroy him, ruin their entire relationship and maybe a friendship as well. However, I think in the long term, he will be unhappy with a marriage where she's so controlling. Not even that, but if she's completely okay with cheating on her long-term partner, it will be the same once they are married. Is telling him the right thing to do. Edit. To clarify, the cheating has not been going on for 6 years, as far as I'm aware, and the hookups occurred recently. And we do have an update to this post as well, but we'll start off with NGM Duck, who says, "Tell him before it's too late. He's your friend." Rydell Hoff replies that saying, "I doubt he'll even believe them, even with proof. My prediction is that he will get upset, confront her in private, she will gaslight him, convince him his friends are the problem. He'll cut them off and they won't have a relationship with him anymore. Find out about his wedding a year down the line. A kid 2 or 3 years down the line, and maybe 5 to 10 years down the line, he might reach out when he's getting a divorce because she's leaving him, because she found someone with more money / better hair / better job / whatever. I know this sounds like some kind of incel garbage, but this plays out over and over and over here. There might as well be a bingo card by now." Panda says he might not take it very well, but I think you should tell him. He can do what he wants with the information, but as a friend, you should absolutely tell him before he marries this chick. Someone says, "I'd want to know," to which Welder Jeb replies to that saying, "I feel the same way. I ran into a very similar situation. My wife and I shared a 2-bedroom apartment with another married couple that we met on CL, which I assume is Craigslist. My wife went to a party with his wife one weekend. They had some drinks and his wife pointed to a guy at the party and just straight up told her, 'See that guy? I've been fucking him.' My wife was shocked. They weren't very close and she just dropped a bomb on her. So the next day my wife confided in me this story. To where my first reaction was, we definitely have to tell him. Well, I sat him down alone, I believe the next day, and told him everything I was told. Told him I'm sorry he had to hear it from me, but if I was him, I'd want to know. He was devastated, but thanked me. He confronted her later on and she denied everything, called my wife and I some choice names. I believe liar and homewrecker was in there too. She cursed me out and was very hateful towards me as she moved her shit out. In the end, he got a divorce and now years later is happier." Shyman20 says you need to tell him before he makes a huge mistake unknowingly. Granted, he's so hooked on her, he might figure her for whatever BS excuse she gives him and blame shifts him, but if he is your friend, you need to come forward. How he handles it afterward is up to him, but at least he knows what he will get himself into. Just look at r/surviving infidelity and you will see heartbreaking stories of betrayed spouses who find their partner of for example 15 or so years were cheating all along. Don't allow him to post on that thread in the future from this when he finds out and his world is turned upside down even further. Someone questioned OP and said, why haven't you told him already? To which OP says, I wasn't sure if it was my place or if it was even true at first, and I had no clue how to even tell him something like that. I've only known the information for a few weeks. I wasn't planning on saying nothing, just didn't know how to go about it. To a person who doesn't know them, they're the perfect couple. They are happy soulmates. Seriously, their shit on social media is like something straight out of a romance movie. I always had my doubts about her because of how controlling she is, but I'm not going to tell him he shouldn't marry his girlfriend because of suspicions or rumors. Because I don't know their private life. I never thought she'd be unfaithful. It was a huge shock to me as well. OP then goes on to edit the post, which says some of the commenters are calling me a bad friend for not telling him immediately. After giving it some thought and reading the comments, I've decided to tell him as soon as I can. Most likely tonight if he's free to hang out. Although saying I'm being a bad friend for waiting, this is a huge deal and it will greatly affect the future of Aaron, and I want to make sure I break the news in the correct way. The man is blinded by love. He's not going to be expecting this news at all and his whole life is about to change. I'm definitely not going to do nothing because he deserves much better than this woman and he deserves to know the truth about what he's getting into if he still decides to marry her. I'm expecting a full-blown shitstorm. I'm expecting him to be hurt, angry, in disbelief. I don't believe it's wrong that I'm asking for a bit of advice on how to approach this. Should I have told him sooner? Maybe, but what difference would a few weeks make? For all those asking, I'll post an update when I do it. Edit 3. I've talked to Aaron since I posted this and he's coming over tonight to talk/hang out. My boyfriend and I are going to tell him together because he knows the situation as well. A few of you have suggested I talk to Mary first to give her a chance to come clean. Well, that's a good idea. I'm not as close to her as I am to Aaron, and I don't see that going over well. I would much rather tell him and leave it to him to decide what to do from there. Next edit. New information has been received from the third-party friend Allison. She has sent me screenshots of texts that do prove Mary has been involved with her ex. They send message regularly and he has sent her nudes. Next edit. Lol. I just mentioned that Aaron just got to our house at 8 PM EST. We'll update later if I can. Thank you all so much for the kind messages and helping me work this hot mess out. I've been stressing about this all day, but I believe I'm doing the right thing and telling him. And a quick little edit at 11 EST. We all talked for a good bit. I told him what I heard from Allison and it went better than expected, but he was still pretty mad and upset. We're all just chilling and drinking now. I'll post the whole story tomorrow. Thanks again for all the replies. So then OP does come in with a full update which says, so I got lots of feedback on what to do here. A good majority of the commenters told me to say something, to clarify. It may not have been clear in the OP, but I was never planning on doing nothing. Of course, you gotta tell your bro if they are being cheated on. I was just not sure how to approach the situation. Some of the commenters gave me some very helpful advice. Some of you told me to talk to the girlfriend first, some of you told me to wait, some told me to gather a bunch of evidence first, which I ended up getting from Allison, the third-party friend. Some of you guys got angry with me for not telling him sooner, told me I was a bad friend. Some were sure he wouldn't believe me, some predicted the girlfriend would deny it all. Well, all of you were somewhat right. Here's how it went down. I messaged Allison earlier on in the day, shortly after I made the post, because typing it all out brought my guilt and apprehension from the situation to the surface. I said to Allison that I needed to tell Aaron and asked whether or not she had proof. This was when she sent me the screenshots of the text messages. Aaron came over at around 8 and what was great was that Allison came over too. We all sat down and had talked for a bit and we all told him our suspicions about Mary. Allison showed him the text screenshots of Mary talking to her ex. and also told Aaron all the stories she shared about her sexual encounters. What was the most surprising was his reaction. He took it very well. He first got very quiet and just nodded. Aaron ended up telling us that he had a sneaking suspicion that something was going on. He was not aware of the hookups, but he and Mary had gotten into fights before over the fact that she doesn't allow him near any other girls, but she goes out and flirts with other guys all the time. He told us that she had been distant lately and would leave rather often without telling him where she was going. There were a few other small things he mentioned that told us he was just generally unhappy with his relationship. He knew in his gut something was wrong, but wanted to believe it wasn't true. We started unwinding with some alcohol after that, and it got way more emotional. He cried, talking about how he felt stupid for not seeing it sooner, how he really loved her and would have given her anything. Then he got angry at her and even more so at the guy. Some unpleasant and derogatory terms were used to describe her. Ultimately, he told us that he's going to be breaking it off, at least for now. We told him a million times how much better he deserved. He's definitely not going to marry her. Thanks again for all the supportive words and advice. We saved a good man from heartbreak. And our next story is titled, Am I the Arsehole for calling my boyfriend's sister a bitch? My boyfriend, both 18, comes from a hockey-obsessed family. And that's saying something considering we live in Canada, lol. I don't know shit about hockey except the Maple Leafs haven't won a playoff in years. I don't know, lol. I also know the names of good-looking hockey players that sometimes show up on TikTok. My boyfriend doesn't care. He does plan on making me a hockey fan though. Anyways, I was a tiny bit scared to meet his family since his friends make a big deal of how intense they were as hockey fans, but they were all pretty chill. I did get teased lightheartedly, but they were nice. Except his older sister, 28. She started asking me hockey trivia. Questions that I clearly didn't know the answers of and kept mocking me. She then sort of looked me up and down and said, "You're one of those girls, aren't you?" I asked her what she meant, and she said I was a girly girl considering how much I dressed up for a casual family dinner. I asked her why that was an issue. She said it wasn't, and all his girlfriends have been girly girls, but at least they were pretty. I was really hurt by that. I asked her why she was being so rude, and she told me that she was just telling the truth. Apparently my boyfriend has a type and I don't fit that. He also has standards and dated people on his level who, despite their girliness, knew the basics of hockey and were actually pretty. I was confused, hurt and annoyed and ended up calling her a fucking bitch under my breath. Unsurprisingly, she heard it and started yelling at me and said that I better treat her with respect or else. I just said whatever and waited for my boyfriend. He was trying to find something in the basement. I stuck to him the entire night, but his sister kept glaring at me. Before I left, she told me that she was just being honest and telling me how incompatible we are. I had no right to call her a bitch and she wanted me to apologize. I said no and left, but she found my Insta and sent me pics of his exes to prove her point and said, "Now where's my apology?" I haven't answered yet, but I'm conflicted. I know I'm not his type, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I also feel like I don't have to apologize since she was being a massive bitch, but I guess she wasn't wrong and was indeed telling the truth. I don't know. I'm just hurt. Am I the arsehole? Edit. My boyfriend isn't aware of anything that's going on, and my friend who told me to post on here just read this and told me that I'm missing a very important piece of information. I'm brown. My boyfriend and his family are white. And there were some relevant comments on this one. So someone said, "You're not the arsehole. Your boyfriend is lame for not sticking up for you. You did the right thing." OP replies saying he wasn't aware of anything. I still don't think he is, lol. Someone replies that saying, "So tell him, seriously, you and his sister have issues and you're not going to tell him your side of the story. It's his job, not yours, to get his sister in line. Or at least off your back." I'm going with "you're the arsehole, but barely. By calling her a B, you let her know that she got under your skin. So now she's burrowing in. It's hard to ignore that kind of bullying, but a better course of action would have been to let your boyfriend know then that there were problems." OP replies saying, "I shouldn't I? Sorry, he's the first guy I've seriously dated and I'm still figuring things out. I'll tell him tonight, thanks. Another commenter says, not the arsehole, and I absolutely hate that word and rarely use it because I don't think that gendered words should be used as slurs. But damned if that woman didn't deserve it. I'm Canadian, old enough to be both of your mums, a very bright, accomplished woman and a former model when I was your age. And I don't know a damn thing about hockey, nor do I care. I never have and never will. Find it unbelievably boring. Can't tell the players apart from all the padding and uniforms and helmets. Could not care less. And you know what? Contrary to what that ridiculous, almost 30-year-old woman thinks, it doesn't say a damn thing about my character, or yours. A comment about being on his level, what the fuck does that even mean? What does she think a level is? It's a meaningless insult meant to make it sound like he's, what, something special because he likes hockey and knows the rules and players. So do millions of other people. Doesn't make him special, or her. It's just the sport, and I have no issue with people who love it. I'm very happy that they have something they enjoy, just as I am for anyone else who has a hobby they love, but the fact that she thinks that being hockey fans makes them magically special on some other level from you or anyone else, I'm literally snickering. My friend, not only was she rude as fuck to you, she's delusional, also maybe a little racist. But even if she isn't, it doesn't matter because she has no manners. And she's way too old to think that literally just being a hockey fan gives her the right to treat another human being like garbage. Delusional and ridiculous. It's just hockey. You were rude, but it was absolutely called for. Not the arsehole. OP replies that saying, firstly, you sound really cool and I admire you already. Secondly, my boyfriend's actually a hockey player and so was his father. But again, so are loads of other people. It truly is just hockey, and his sister doesn't play, so yeah, you are right. Thanks for the comment. I just have to say it again though, you sound so cool. Another commenter says, not the arsehole, if you are brown, specifically South Asian, I would invite her over to your next family gathering and have your family interrogate her about cricket. Girl, who cares about her? If the most she can contribute to a decent conversation is hockey stats, then you're already miles ahead of her. Tell your boyfriend. Also, I agree with the one commenter suggesting you should just kill her with kindness. It'd drive her mad. It'd be great. OP replies saying, lol, yeah, I am, and I doubt she even knows cricket exists, so that would be really funny. Thanks. So OP updates the post, which says, firstly, sorry for updating so late. Life's been crazy and I just randomly checked Reddit earlier and saw a few people asking me for an update. But yeah, I don't use Reddit and was a tiny bit overwhelmed seeing the response I got. I also saw my post on TikTok which scared the absolute shit out of me, but that's a story for another day. I got a lot of comments and advice. I firstly want to say thank you for being super kind to me. It was really heartwarming and it gave me a little bit of courage to tell my boyfriend what happened. I eventually told him what happened and showed him the messages his sister had sent me. He just hugged me really tight and told me that if she ever says anything like that to me again, to tell him straight away. He made me block her. He then called her right in front of me and told her to get the fuck out of his personal life and stop acting like such a creep. He informed me that his sister is barely in his life because of how she treats him and apologized for not telling me earlier. I was a little unsure of everything, to be honest, especially since coming to the realization that his sister's comments were rooted in racism. I asked him what he thought about me being a POC. He told me that it's new to him considering he's been surrounded by white people all his life, but he loves me regardless. He said, love guys. I might have fainted. I know a lot of people think I should run, but I don't want to. I think I love him too. Yeah, we're only 18, come from extremely different cultures, and his sister is going to be a somewhat permanent thing, but right now I think we'll be okay. He doesn't think that way, nor do his other family members. His mum's a sweetheart. If I even get the slightest hint that he's actually a terrible racist and just like his sister, then yeah, I'm definitely leaving, but they aren't the same person and I can recognize that. After all, my parents don't even know about our relationship because I'm scared of how they might act. It would be a bit unfair if I dumped him over the actions of his sister. Thanks again for all the sweet and supportive comments. I don't think you guys will ever understand how much I appreciate them. And it sounds like OP knows where they're at and handling things in the best possible way that they can at the moment. But what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. and it's just a wholesome little one to end our video with. And this one comes from Dead Queen Gwen, who's over on our own subreddit r/Mark Narrations with her own little wholesome tale. They start off with chaotic story time. Early last month, 3 young teen girls came into work to buy snacks and drinks. One of them has a fountain drink. She jokingly asks if she does a cartwheel right here, right now, would I let her have her soda for free? I think about it for a minute and think, fuck it, why not? Go for it. It was a bad cartwheel, but it was a cartwheel nonetheless. They freak out as I take the drink off of their bill. They didn't expect me to actually do it. Those same 3 girls came back in tonight for more drinks and snacks. This time 2 of them have fountain drinks. She asks if she can do it again, fully expecting me to say no. But I say yes. Another bad cartwheel. I point at the other girl who had a fountain drink and tell her she can do it too. Perfect form. I think she's at gymnastics instruction. All 3 insist they still pay for their drinks. They're not trying to take advantage of me or get me in trouble. I take them off anyway. I gave my word after all. They're losing their minds and excitedly say, "We got you a gift." I'm super confused and expect a small trinket like a plastic ring or something. Nope. They hand me one of the items they just purchased, a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's. We are all losing our shit. They explain they discussed this prior, and if I said yes again, they would get me a bottle of barbecue sauce. This was planned. Adolescent chaos at its finest. I'm grateful and well and truly sourced. And that is a lovely little tale, and it reminds me of that tale that I told in a recent story where the cashier gave me a free ice lolly and I went in again like a cheeky so-and-so and asked for another one. Good times. Thank you for sharing that, Dead Queen. Really appreciate it. But what do you guys make of today's collection of stories? As always, if you have a moment of your time, I would love to absolutely hear it. And just a huge thank you for spending your time with me, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care. Much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go, see the sun shining from the windows. Okay, I know that today